Good morning, everyone. This is Robbie with Ahead of the Curve, giving you your playoff update. Um, Off to a pretty good start, the playoffs right now. We've got the American League is pretty much ready and set to go with the division series. The Yankees have finished beating the Indians 2 games, scored 22 runs in 2 games. They're going to face the Rays in the ALDS. The Rays took 2 out of 2 from the Jays. The Athletics had a little bit of a tough time getting past the White Sox. They lost game 1, but had a much easier time in games 2 and 3 to take the series. And finally, the Astros managed to go 2-0 on the Twins. The Twins now have an 18-game postseason losing streak. So pour one out, press F, whatever you got to do to pay your respects to the Twins. They are dead yet again. It's going to be 2 divisional matchups in the American League Division Series, led off with Astros A's. These are teams that don't love each other too much, but their division rivals are always going to be that way. Astros are, of course, infamous for the trash can banging, sign stealing, camera using, buzzer wearing, cheating that they've been doing for the last few years. This will be the first time they've made the playoffs without any help, so that's cool. Good for them. They actually earned one. They had a rough season. Nobody really looked that good for them, and they made it into the playoffs by the skin of their cheating teeth right at the end of the season. So they'll be facing a motivated Athletics squad. Of course, we can say that every year about the Athletics. They have been trying their best for about the last 20 years. And it's never come to anything because Billy Beane loves to spend just enough money to make a playoff team, but not quite enough to make a contender. Elsewhere in the American League, we've got the Yankees and Rays. Now, these are 2 teams with some bad blood. The Yankees and Rays have had a pretty rough last few years. A lot of pegging back and forth. Not the dirty kind of pegging. I realize I used the wrong word there. Beanball. That's not a good word either. Hitting each other with pitches. They've been throwing pitches at each other a whole lot in the last few years, Aroldis Chapman being one of the more recent perpetrators with his triple-digit heat. Aaron Boone and Kevin Cash, they've exchanged barbs in the media, and they're none too pleased with one another. So this should be, as far as 5-game series go, this should be a knockdown, drag-out brawl. And there's going to be some animosity. There's going to be some shenanigans and potentially even some pandemonium if we're lucky. Over in the National League, the only thing that's been decided is that the Braves will move on. They beat the Reds across 2 games. It took them 13 innings the first game and only 9 the second one. They allowed 0 runs. The Braves pitching staff was outstanding for 2 games. Not to say that the Reds pitching staff wasn't. They only allowed 6 runs in 22 total innings. Got outstanding performances out of both Trevor Bauer, who probably should walk away with the National League Cy Young this year, and from Luis Castillo, he's probably got at least one award in his future. But the Reds, they could not generate any offense, and if you can't do that against the Braves' depleted starting pitching, they got amazing performances out of Max Fried and rookie Ian Anderson. Those 2 guys really stepped up for the Braves, and they needed it because they lost their ace, and they traded for somebody who was supposed to be good, who's been dog shit since the trade deadline. So good on the Braves for having 2 pitchers who can do something. All of the blame for today's loss goes to the bullpen in Cincinnati. Raisel Iglesias gave up some runs. I'm actually going to pull up the stats here so that I can tell you all exactly what happened. The Reds bullpen is saddled with the blame for this loss. Castillo gave up 1 run across 5 1/3 innings, struck out 7. Lucas Sims was good out of the bullpen, and Raisel Iglesias, as I may have mentioned a couple of times, he got 1 out by strikeout and instead allowed 2 hits, 3 earned, and 2 walks. That's not how you win. That's certainly not how you win against one of the most potent offenses in baseball. The Braves are stacked top to bottom in their lineup. They have baseball's best reclamation project this year in Marcell Ozuna, who led the National League in home runs. They've got possibly the top MVP contender in Freddie Freeman. That's a team that looks like they can really do some damage, and it's no surprise at all that they're the first team to come out of the National League. Elsewhere in the National League, the Padres have evened the series with the Cardinals with an 11-9 win today. They lost 7-4 yesterday, so they really needed something. Cubs Marlins was actually delayed today. They're going to play tomorrow instead. There was a weather or a meteor or a plane fell out of the sky. I'm not even sure. Something happened, and there was a delay in that one, so they're going to be going at it tomorrow. The Marlins are surprisingly up 1-0. It's the first postseason win the Marlins have had since the last game of the 2003 World Series. So that's That's a lot. A lot of y'all have kids that watch me. Maybe not a lot. I can't really say a lot of anyone watches me. A lot of people have kids, and those kids weren't even born the last time the Marlins won a playoff game. I was barely learning how to put together full sentences when the Marlins last won a playoff game. Miguel Cabrera was a rookie. Just to give everyone a bit of background, Miguel Cabrera was a 19-year-old rookie. Now he's a 36-year-old old guy. So the Marlins are going to go out tomorrow. The Cubs are in trouble. If they can, they're going to need a win in order to move on. It's an elimination game for them. The Padres really came back at it tonight. Fernando Tatis Jr., he's the love of my life from a baseball standpoint. He's everything that baseball needs him to be. He's a five-tool player. He's got an infectious smile and the flowy locks. Tonight, he hit a blast to win the game. While he was contributing to win the game, I probably give him too much credit, but he deserves all of it. The bat flip that followed was nothing short of a masterpiece. Fernando Tatis Jr. is the future of baseball, and we're a fan of him. So Cardinals-Padres game 3 tomorrow. That series will be decided. And finally, we've got the Brewers and Dodgers are actually playing right now. Dodgers are up 3-0 on the Brewers. They beat the Brewers last night 4-2. So if they win tonight, they're moving right along. Brewers have lost Devin Williams. I learned today that he had a forearm injury and has not made the trip with the team to play in Los Angeles. That's a big loss for them. Close games like this, it's 3-0 right now in the 7th. It was 4-2 last night. If you're a top reliever on that team like Devin Williams is, and he's been absolutely lights out for them this season, that's a big loss for them. That's runs in the later innings that they are not able to prevent. And that covers both the American League and the National League. So let's. I have a couple of questions that were brought up from some fans. I'd like to think that I have fans. Damian from Claremont, Florida. Be brutally honest. Is this the Yankees' year? Now, many of you may know, all one of you that's watching probably knows that I am a diehard Yankees fan. I have been since I was born. I was raised in pinstripes, and it's always been my team. I don't think this is their year, though. And I'm going to tell you that because they don't have the pitching to compete. Garrett Cole is obviously fantastic, but you can't throw him out there every single game. James Paxton is hurt, and before he was hurt, he sucked. J.A. Happ has a spotty track record in pinstripes. He's been resurgent this year, but he's not somebody that I want to trust a series to. Masahiro Tanaka, who is one of the better postseason pitchers on the Yankees, got absolutely lit up last night by the Indians. Now, thankfully, the bats woke up and the Yankees were able to win 10-9 late in the game, thanks to Gary Sanchez finally doing something other than let pass balls by him. But no, I don't think this is a team that can go all the way. I don't know that they make it out of this round. They're going to play, arguably the toughest matchup that they could have possibly in the American League in the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays are 40-20 in the regular season, and they just took the Blue Jays to the cleaners across 2 games. So I don't know that the Yankees make it out of the division series, let alone I don't see them making it to the World Series. And it hurts my heart to say that, but brutally honest, am I right? Moving right along, we've got Nick from Memphis, Tennessee. He said he wanted to know my dark horse contenders out of the AL and the NL. I can't really call the Braves a dark. Honestly, you know what? I can't. If we can call the Padres a dark horse, I'm going to say the Padres. They're going to play the Dodgers. I think if the way the bracket shakes out, they're going to play the Dodgers. If they win this round, they're going to play the Dodgers in the next round. That's their test. This is a division rival. This is a team that they were chasing all year. The Dodgers ended up with the best record in baseball. If the Padres want to prove that they can win, they got to beat them. They got to beat the Dodgers. So if they can do that, then yeah, they would no longer be a dark horse. They'd be the contender. Beyond them, the Braves look fantastic as they have. The Braves, the pitching came alive. They needed pitching, and they showed up with pitching, and the bats did just enough to win. And you got to think that the bats are going to heat up just a little better than that. In the American League, it's hard to call the Rays dark horse contenders, but nobody really gave them the time of day except for this guy early in the season. I really wouldn't call. If they're the top seed, though, you can't really call them a dark horse. Really, the only other team that would even come close to qualifying as a dark horse out of the American League would have to be the Astros, just because of where they came into the playoffs. But I don't think they're a contender. They don't have the pitching to do it. Zach Greinke looks like a shell of himself. Lance McCullers just isn't anything special anymore. And all of their bats are hindered by not hearing what pitch is coming next. Every single core player on their roster, from Altuve all the way to Bregman, all the way down to Correa, the ABCs, Altuve, Bregman, Correa, they struggled this season. Maybe it was the 60 games. Maybe it was the no trash cans. But they would be the only team that qualifies as a dark horse contender, unless you want to count the Yankees as a dark horse contender, in which case most people don't because they're one of the highest payrolls in baseball, and you can't really call a high payroll a dark horse. So it hurts me. I don't want to say it, but Astros. Fuck that. The A's. The A's are going to beat the Astros. Nobody's taking them seriously. They've got like 2.5 pitchers and like 4 hitters. Maybe they're a dark horse. Fucking who knows? Richard from French Lick, Indiana. Is Fernando Tatis Jr. the future of baseball? Yes, Richard, he is. He's 22 years old doing things that guys double his age could only dream of doing in their primes, and guys 1.5 times their age still can't do. He's spectacular. He's a 5-tool player. He's going to finish third in MVP voting this year, but he's going to finish first in lots and lots of years. He's actually a couple of guys' favorite for the MVP award this year. Now, I think he cooled off a little too hard towards the end of this 60-game sprint, but I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged to see him going forward. As long as he stays healthy. His season last year, his debut season, was shortened by injury. This year he was healthy all year, so that's a good sign. But he's got to be able to do it for 162 games straight instead of 160 something games over the course of 2 seasons. Or really 140, because I think he only played 80 something last year. So yeah, he's still not even at 1 full season across his entire career so far, and he is already outstanding. Well, that's been your update. I'll keep posting in the site. Keep following up. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop a comment, drop a like, do a share. That's about it. Signing off. Toodaloo.